Hi, I'm Pam Washington from Build My Cleaning Business, and today I have a special treat for you. I have an article called 20 Simple Ways to Get More Clients for Your Cleaning Service Business. So I want to start by talking about the various types of prospects that you might be dealing with. So basically, a prospect starts out as cold, and then you move them along the continuum to where they're warm, and then of course when they're ready to buy they are hot, and from there it's very easy to turn them into clients. So one of the things that I think it's important for you to remember is it is more difficult to turn a cold prospect into a client. So sometimes you have to take a little bit of a longer term view and think about moving your prospects along a continuum, okay? So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some cold prospects and some warm prospects and some things that you can do to get some of them. So one of the things I want to talk about for cold prospects is to purchase a list. And this can be it can include email, fax, which is a little bit old school, phone number, and or snail mail address. Okay, I have some information for you about where you can purchase lists and list brokers. And then the other thing that I want you to think about for cold prospecting is paid advertising. Now, paid advertising, of course, there's tons of different options. There's things like Google AdWords, there's Facebook, but there's another way that you can advertise that will get you a little bit warmer. So this is what we refer to as affinity advertising. So this is people with whom you already share an affinity. So it may be like, you know, your child's baseball league, you know, maybe they have a program or a tournament. If you belong to like maybe an alumni group where you went to high school or college, maybe you're, you know, if you're involved in the what do you call it? The name escapes me. Where I just can't think of it. Where you learn to be a speaker, a public speaking. I just can't think of that right now. I'll come back to that. And then some of the other things is groups. If you belong to any sort of trade groups, like let's say, you know, realtors, women business owners, you know, vets in business, something like that. So what you can do is, if you advertise with some of these methods and people respond to you, now they've moved over into the warm category. And so, this would also include, I said trade groups, but I meant to say events, okay? Live events where maybe you could either have a booth, or you could be a sponsor, or you could do what's called a chair drop, which means that the organization allows you to, you know, drop your materials on each of the chairs. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is now that you've had some interaction with these people, you know, they're moving closer toward the warm or the hot. So here are a couple of things. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And I told you at the beginning of this that we were going to have about 20. So I'm going to just list really briefly what the others are. And then in another series, we're going to go through, you know, 2 or 3 at a time. Okay, so let me just grab my list. I couldn't possibly remember it in my head. So I promised you 20. So we have, of course, email, we have postal mail, and then we have paid ads, which could be a print ad, like in a program, or a display ad, which would be more like an image. You could advertise on the internet, which we talked about, like Google or Facebook. You could have affinity ads, which I just covered in a little bit of detail. You could advertise in some local community platforms like newsletter. Oh, you know what's one that's been working really well for me lately? There's something called Nextdoor. It's basically social media for neighborhoods, and it's free, and I've gotten some residential and commercial clients from that recently, like in the last month. Okay, and then we're also going to talk about industry, trade, or networking groups. Okay, and this is all under the category of paid advertising. Actually, Nextdoor is free. Okay, so this is sort of 1, 2, 3, and then I guess this would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then item number 4 would be either a phone or postal or email follow-up with whichever one of these you started with. Then of course you have referrals, which is extremely effective, and that can be either personal, so family, friends, neighbors, relatives, co-workers, previous co-workers, business, so people that you do business with, like the guy that cuts your lawn, your pool maintenance, where you get your hair cut, those kinds of things. Similar to this but slightly different is networking, and this can be either formal, something like BNI, or relatively informal, like what I was just talking about. Maybe if you go to church, maybe they have a business group that you can connect with there. Okay, this is getting down kind of low, so I'm going to go over to the other side. Strategic alliances. This one is huge, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it right now. The purpose of today is really to just list the 20 and to get your brain sort of going, and then in another video I'll go into more detail on some of these, okay? Then we have number 8 here is joint venture partnerships. Similar to strategic alliances, but a bit different. Number 9 is your website. This one is a biggie. I have about 12 different items that you need to make sure that you include on your website. We'll cover that in another video. Okay, and then you have social media. And so this would be things like LinkedIn, Facebook. This is where that Nextdoor that I mentioned earlier, that's where that would come in. And then everyone's favorite, I know, public speaking. It's actually very effective because people don't perceive you as selling, they perceive you as an expert. Writing, so this could be blog posts, guest blogs, articles, lead magnets, etc. Philanthropy, if there are organizations in your local community that you like to support. Let's see, then we have awards. This is one that I've been able to have a lot of success with. Public relations and press. PR is huge because people perceive it as being more truthful than advertising. And then of course social proof, which is things like testimonials, ratings, reviews, etc. Okay, so really the purpose of today's video was just to give you an overview of all of the multiple ways that you can be marketing your business. I think sometimes we forget, we get so caught up in doing the same things over and over again that we forget about how many opportunities are available. Okay, so that's the purpose, and then I'm going to go into it more in depth in future videos. Okay, so that's all. Bye for now.